their hometown at their local track. But this South Carolina driver crossed the border into Jefferson, Georgia, and won 2 races, dominating Peach State Speedway.
It's just an awesome car all night long.
But Georgia boys like Bill Clemens Jr., 99 Rookie of the Year Steve Christian, and last year's points champion Bobby Gill usually dominate here and want their track back. But to do that, they have to figure out how to beat this ex-crew chief to the checkered flag. United Speed Alliance Racing, the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series for the year 2000, makes stop number 5 out of a 20-race season. The Miller Lite 250 in Jefferson, Georgia at the Peach State Speedway, where Marty Ward, in fact, has collected all 3 of his official Hooters Pro Cup wins. Bill Venturini is waiting for me up in the booth. Stephen Cox is down here on pit road along with all of the drivers, and we welcome you. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Drever. Thanks for joining us. Now you may have already heard, but in case you didn't, the apparent winner of the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina round of the Hooters Pro Cup Series, Mike Laughlin Jr., was disqualified for an infraction of competition rules. So that left the runner-up, the official winner, and now the only man eligible for the big bonus money in the 4 Champions Challenge is the driver of the Alleluia Ford Taurus, Marty Lindley.
Well, I'd have liked to really be leading the points, but, you know, with a bad race at Lakeland and getting off to a slow start like we done, to be here second in the points, only 4 out of the lead, this says a lot for our team. I'd like to thank Elvin Rector and Jimmy King. They work for me full time. They really do a good job at the shop, and the cars is prepared, and we're completing all the laps, so that really helps.
2-time ARCA champion Bill Venturini alongside for the competition here. I'm always glad to have his knowledge. As we take a look at the points for the year 2000 season, Bill, well, Mario Gosselin on top, you would expect that.
Yeah, but this also shows that you don't have to win a race to be leading in the points. But look at this. We've got three rookies in the top 10 in the points.
4 if you count John Wood, who's in the top 5. Rookies are certainly making their mark on the Hooters Pro Cup season this year. Let's go downstairs to Stephen Cox, who's with the front row sitters.
Well, Brian Vickers got the outside pole, but he didn't do it by himself. He actually had a little conference with a guy that's been here many, many times, the veteran Bill Clemens Jr. Well, Brian and Bill got to talking. He said, hey, you're going to have to go harder into the first corner. Let me adjust your line a little bit. Now try it again and see what happens. Well, what happened is Brian's on the outside pole. Now, here's a guy that really caught a break. Steve Christian, your Discount Auto Parts Pole Sitter Award, got a cloud. Now, this apparently picked up a lot of time for you. Really, tell me what this did for you.
Well, I know you tried to stretch it into 3 seconds, but maybe 2/10. We have seen that here in practice. You know, the clouds come and you can pick up 2/10 of a second. It's a short track, but it's a track the surface is worn out on, so it's real sensitive to temperature change. That cloud helped. Tony Clements built a new motor for us for this race. We just got in last night. That was a big difference. Carrera shocks were here Monday when we tested. They built 2 new shocks for us. We got those on the car. That was a big difference. Scott Sutherland worked with me on my driving line on this racetrack. We added a little bit here. You'd think we made 1,000,000 laps, we'd know where to go, but it's gotten so rough, so bumpy. We've changed the line a little bit. It made a big difference. So if we can take this Lucas Oil Products car, keep it up front all night long, just stay out of trouble, I think we'll have something for him at the end.
Your Discount Auto Parts pole sitter, Stephen Christian, in the Lucas Oil Products number 0 entry. Well, the crews are making their final preparations for the start of this race. We'll be right back for it. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after it. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Welcome back to Peach State Speedway for the Miller Lite 250. There's very little ceremony yet to go here except to fire them up.
Drivers, start your engines.
You know, Brian, when you hear those words, the hair on my arm stand up, and I've been listening to that for 30 years.
Well, you know what? I think if there's red blood in your veins, that does make your hair stand up if you're a racing fan. Now the cars are rolling out under somewhat overcast skies, so sponsored by Renegade Race Trailers, we now turn to our weatherman, Bill Venturini.
Yeah, you know, it's 78, but it's really humid tonight, and I think some guys may have some problems with their engines overheating. They're going to have to be really careful tonight.
They caught a break, though, because of the overcast skies here all afternoon. It certainly could have been a lot worse than it was. Yes, it's humid at this half-mile oval.
Yeah, look at this. Again, you know, perfect 18-degree turns, half mile. The turns are equal. Good pit road coming down the front straightaway. This should make for good side-by-side racing tonight.
Little different line coming off turn 2 down the back straight than there is coming on to the front stretch. As we take a look at their Jackaroo Sauce's starting grid, you met the pole sitter Stephen Christian and his front row mate Brian Vickers. Back on row number 2, veterans Mario Goslin and rookie driver John Wood with a very quick lap during qualifying.
Inside row 3, veteran Bobby Gill in the PGT Industries Ford, and next to him, Charlie Ford in the Sun Graphic Chevrolet. Row 4, again, fast rookie Clayton Rogers, and next to him, past champion Jeff Agnew in the Twin City Motors Exchange Chevrolet.
Row number 5, Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink Chevy, and Buggy Pletcher in the Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet, pair of rookies. We go back to row number 6. Chad's dad, Neil, was going to drive the car, but it's Chad behind the wheel of the number 25, and Andy Thurman, first race winner for the year 2000 in the Naturally Fresh Mountain Springwater car.
Inside row 7, Jay Fogelman in the High-Tech Fabrication Ford, and next to him, Bill Plemons Jr. in the Hooters Restaurant Entry.
And Martin Esbit in the State Fair brand Corn Dog Chevrolet. He goes with Jerry Rector, who had a great finish last time out in Myrtle Beach in the Reds Grill car. Mike Laughlin Jr. disqualified last time. He goes in the Valinite Tool number 7. And Regan Smith, rookie driver in the 28 car.
Here's some new guys that we haven't seen in a while. Randy Gentry in the inside row 10 in the Ford, and Dusty Williams start next to him.
Dusty Williams replacing Kevin Barrett in that 11 car. Stacy Puryear has been a factor all year long as a rookie driver, and Marty Lindley, the official winner from Myrtle Beach, his first career victory. Mike Herman Jr. in the Today's Fireplaces number 34, and Karen Schultz makes it into the field this week in her Naturally Fresh Dressings and Dips car.
Row 13 inside, Marty Warden in the Work Boots Chevrolet, and next to him, Curtis Davis.
Tim Edwards in the number 12, and it's a Chevrolet. Goes with Derek Kelly back there. Disappointing qualifying effort, but he's got high hopes for that brand new car this week. Inside
row 15, Tim Clayton in a Budweiser Chevrolet, and next to him, Eddie Pearson. That's the son of the Silver Fox, David Pearson.
John Kinder goes on row number 16 along with Shane Huffman. Huffman in the Johnsonville Bratwurst car. Mickey Hudspeth making an appearance after somewhat of an absence, and he goes with 45 Darrell Hayes, rookie driver back there.
Row 18, veteran Don Satterfield in the Hawk Sawblade Chevrolet, and next to him, Trent Owens in the 1-800 B Petty Pontiac.
And we begin to round out the field here with a pair of provisional entries. Jave Jones goes in the Jackaroo car 09 with Darrell Gwynn in the Miller Lite number 67. And now you're looking at the front of the field. The failed to qualify list wasn't as long as it was last time, but there are still some very good drivers who did not get in the field here. It's tough when you have to trailer them up and send them home, but you know what? 47 cars show up, 38 make the race. Bill Plemons Jr. down on pit road, yeah.
Yeah, I think they felt that because of the humidity and the temperature, that they had the front of the grill already taped up, and they decided, oh man, we better get down here and fix it right now. They pulled all the tape off the grill.
On board with Darrell Gwynn in the Miller Lite car from the back of the field, and alongside Jabe Jones in the Jackaroo Sauces car. So as these guys work their way forward in the field, we'll get a look from the deck lids.
Yeah, that's the shot they don't want to see because there was nobody behind him.
Eddie Pearson goes in the DM Racing car number 121, and we will get a look through the windshield with Eddie Pearson. Karen Schultz carrying a camera for us, and we'll be watching her driving style from the passenger seat, so to speak, in the Naturally Fresh Foods number 89.
You see that little hose right there? That's for her drink. That's her drink bottle. So when she needs something to grab, she'll just grab the plastic hose.
Dusty Williams has won races here at Peach State Speedway truck racing, and he goes for the first time. And Steve Christian, we're on board and in the ear.
It's going to be rough here in about 15, 20 minutes. Oh, we sure should have put the tape on this thing. I thought about it once I got up here.
Well, they're talking about the sun going down the front stretch. The setting sun to the west of Peach State Speedway But again, Bill, they caught a break because of the cloud cover as we get set to go green here. The flag in the hands of Dave Turner of Miller Beer, and it's waving. We are underway racing in the Miller Lite 250 at Peach State Speedway. And Steve Christian stands on the gas and really stretches out a quick lead on Brian Vickers, who was right alongside him on the front row.
Yeah, you made a comment about the sun and everything. That's going to affect the outcome of this race, because they're starting this race in the sun and the heat, and then they're going to go into the darkness and the cool of the night. So you may see some guys lead at the beginning of the race that are good right now, but then as it gets cooler, you may see someone else that's faster.
Oh, Regan Smith with problems right away in the 28 car. He got bumped a little bit from the back of the field there, and it was Dusty Williams that made a little bit of contact. We'll get a look at it. Watch Regan Smith's red car, and there's the 11 who just nudges him on the inside.
You can see they were going into the corner of the number 11 car of Dusty Williams. Actually got sideways first, kind of wiggled a little, and used Regan Smith as it's right there, as a buffer to keep from wrecking.
Dusty Williams with a pair of wins in the Parts Pro Truck Series here at Peach State Speedway. He'll get it together. We watch Clayton Rogers, Charlie Ford, Jeff Agnew, and now Jay Fogelman. Buggy Pletcher and Andy Thurman racing for position here. Down on pit road, John Wood takes the GoRacing.com car, and the crew frantically pulls some tape off the front. And John will be coming back out of pit road, but he's going to go down a lap. Don't want to stop under green, Bill.
No, not at all. Look at Andy Thurman using that outside lane to get around Buggy Pletcher.
So at least Bill Clemens was able to come in, pull the tape off before the race started. That put him at the back of the field. But John Wood is going to go a lap down here, and that's a tough break for the young driver. As we go on board with Eddie Pearson behind Karen Schultz.
And you can see Eddie's definitely looking on the inside of Karen.
Go!
What? Yeah. Okay, Eddie, you got to kind of wait a minute here. She got a little stopped in traffic, and they got it stacked up right there.
On board with Karen Schultz. Looks like a little splash of water out of her drinking tube on the lens.
Did you notice also the glare coming down the straightaway there when they come off the corner in the sunlight? You know, we heard that at the beginning of the race. Maybe they should have put some more tape on the window. That really makes it hard to see what's going on down the straightaway.
Well, it won't be there long.
No.
You know, it's almost down to the top of the trees, and it's kind of muffled or obscured, blurred a little bit by the cloud cover.
I was watching Karen's hands also, and she was real smooth on the steering wheel, which tells me the car wasn't loose right now.
She was very pleased with the setup in practice. She picked up a couple of tenths and knew the car would be better. Problems for Jabe Jones in the Jackaroo Sauces car that started from the back of the grid. And he's definitely off power.
You could hear definitely that he's really slow coming down pit road.
Well, he's coasting over into the turn 3 area. No caution out yet, but it's pretty certain that we will get a yellow flag. Yep, there it is. Because he is down where, you know, if a driver were to try to clip down low, you can see how close Jabe Jones is to the racing line. So our leader is Stephen Christian by a lot, but this is going to tighten the field up a little bit as we go under our first caution of the night here at Peach State Speedway. The Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet and former rookie champion Stephen Christian wheeling the field around here today.
Yeah, you know, I was impressed right now with the way Brian Vickers and the CV Products Chevy has been able to kind of, he can't quite hang on to Steve Christian, but you know, he's holding a nice spot in second, and nobody's gaining on him, and we'll see what happens.
After qualifying, Stephen Christian was as surprised as anybody at how fast he was. Maybe he's a little more surprised right now.
Stay tuned for more of the Miller Lite 250
here in Jefferson, Georgia at the Peach State Speedway.
Welcome back to Jefferson, Georgia, just outside the city of Atlanta for the Miller Lite 250 as we get set to restart. There's John Wood down on the inside and down a lap in the early going here as he'll try to get it back real quick on the wave of the green alongside Stephen Christian. And John Wood started from outside row 2, so you know these two cars are pretty much evenly matched. There's our rundown after 14 laps, the Discount Auto Parts top 10.
Yeah, and it's too bad John Wood didn't get his lap back on that restart.
There he is behind leader Stephen Christian. Stephen Cox, what's your read on the situation down there with John Wood?
Well, for the second time early in this race, we've had a car overheat. John Woods, GoRacing.com, number 116, came in just a few moments ago. The only thing they did was try to cool down the engine. They were running almost 260 degrees, way, way too hot, and they were doing it under green. So they came in, ripped the tape off as quickly as they could, and when John went back out, the temperatures did come down. That wasn't the only associated problem with heat. Just down pit road, just before the green dropped, Bill Plemons Jr. brought in the Hooters Pro Cup number 15. He had only run 2 laps in that car prior to the race tonight, and those were qualification laps because his primary car broke the motor. They jumped in the backup car. When they came out to start the race, it was overheating as well. So they also ripped the tape off the front of the machine to try to let more air in to cool it down.
You know, Brian, listening to Stephen talk about how hot the engine got, people wonder how can it get 260 degrees? Well, first of all, you know, because water boils at 212, when you pressurize it with the radiator cap, your boiling point goes higher, along with, we usually use a product called water wetter, which brings the temperature down a few more degrees. You can run them at 240 degrees. When you get over that, you start to create some problems.
On board with Eddie Pearson, working on Karen Schultz some more.
Yeah, you know, he tried to get her. Look at Karen's car bounce in the center of the corner. But now we're in with Karen Schultz on board with her. Let's see if we can see it. Look at her. She's starting to saw on the steering wheel now. She's going a little too far to the left, which tells me the car's pushing.
Well, there's also down in the turn 1 area, at one very particular place, there's a definite dip. You can straddle it and miss it, or you can run a wheel through there and you're definitely going to feel it and see it. No problem for Stephen Christian out front. You know, we were kind of ignoring him because why not? Look at the lead he's got. But Stephen Christian has him covered here as we once again take a look at the Discount Auto Parts top 10. Jay Fogelman rounding it out. Chaffin's moved up a spot, passing Sean Studer. Now we're watching Fogelman and Buggy Pletcher. Fogelman on the outside, Pletcher holding a nice tight line down low.
You know, you made a comment on how much of a lead Steve Christian has. We've been seeing this kind of all year long. You know, somebody kind of takes off like a rabbit and runs, but we still got 225 laps to go, and usually come towards the end, there's that one guy that sneaks around in the top 5. You know, that Bobby Gill seems to know when to get. Well, speaking of Bobby Gill, there he is right there. But he always seems to end up in the front if he doesn't have a problem.
And he always seems to end up in the neighborhood of Mario Gosselin, too, as both these guys. We've called them the eye of the storm. If you want to know which way the storm is moving, watch these two. Well, they're both moving towards the front. Gosselin started from the number 3 spot. He's actually struggling a little bit. Bobby Gill started from 5th, and they're right nose to tail on the racetrack now.
It looks like Bobby Gill gets a little better. Oh, got a wreck right now.
Yep. Caution comes out on lap 28. Dusty Williams, who had some problems a little bit earlier alongside of Regan Smith, now takes his car for a spin down on the inside of the front stretch. Whoa, north of the southbound lane. He takes a quick turn around the end of pit wall, and is he going to make it? Yeah. Not much of a turning radius on these race cars. I didn't know if he was going to have to back out of it. Here's another look from on board.
Brian, you see as he came off the corner and the car got sideways, he hit the wall. Now look at that's tire smoke.
So first we saw him tap the wall, and here's where he spins. Another look from on board Eddie Pearson's car.
Oh yeah, look in the upper left. You can see smoke coming off the left rear tire in the center of the corner. Usually that's a sign that when he hit the wall, look at the right side of the car. It's all flat-sided. Bent the rear panel bar and it moved it over, and it's hitting the left rear fender.
Well, he's going to try to go back out on the racetrack, and does. We'll be right back. Under caution, and some of the cars choosing to come down pit road. Of course, Dusty Williams is in, and we see Trent Owens also on pit road. Let's go down to Stephen Cox, who's there, of course. Stephen, what do you got?
Andy Thurman very quickly into the pits. They took out a spring rubber to try to alternate the handling of the car. It's a little bit difficult for him right now. They took a spring rubber out of the front left.
A lot of tape on the front of Andy Thurman's car, not only for cosmetic reasons. There's Trent Owens, who is carrying stickers for his family, which of course is the extended Petty family. Both Adam and Lee Petty stickers on the back of his car there. Trent Owens' life has been touched by the tragedy that touched us all. Take a look at the upcoming races here on the USAR Hooters Pro Cup schedule. We'll be in Lakeland, Florida for the second time this season next up. Then Montgomery Motor Speedway for the second installment in our Four Champions Challenge Series for the year 2000. John Woods back down on pit road as the rest of the field circles the racetrack. And for more on that, back to Stephen Cox. Stephen.
One turn of wedge, a change onto the left rear of the John Wood car. John's already gone a lap down. Now, in addition to the wedge change, they're also going to let some air out of the right rear tire. So the handling of this car has really been out to lunch so far this race, in addition to the heating problems he had early on. So John Wood really has his hands full with this race car.
Well, for them to make two changes, both a chassis change with the wedge and with the air pressure, that tells me the car was really loose, because what they've done, both movements have been to tighten the car up.
Well, the rest of the field is circling the racetrack. We know that Stephen Christian, the race leader's car, is just fine.
Welcome back to the Miller Lite 250.
Here at the Peach State Speedway.
Well, thank you, girls.
I guess that's what you call sweet Georgia peaches.
Indeed, as we get set to go back to the green flag, leader Stephen Christian is alongside the lap car of John Wood once again. Wood an opportunity to get his lap back that he lost early.
Well, yeah, you know, they made those changes, and this is why, so he can maybe get a jump on Steve Christian to make up his lap.
So far, no good. As we take another look at our Discount Auto Parts field summary, Brian Vickers rounding out the top 5. Clayton Rogers has moved up there. Charlie Ford doing a great job, very consistent run here so far, and Chad Chaffin continues to march towards the front. Here is John Wood down low, and yes, he's been able to stay alongside Christian now for a full lap plus. That's better.
Yeah, that definitely is. The changes he made is definitely showing improvement, but you know, we're going to see what happens. You know, Steve Christian's got an excellent handle on the race car right now.
Well, he's pulling away not only, and there is a very bad handling race car as Dusty Williams continues to fight, and there's the tire smoke.
Yeah, you can see that tire definitely stuck inside the fender.
So Stephen Christian pulls away not only from John Wood, but from Bobby Gill, who is in second position right now, and Dusty Williams takes the Sykes Cooker entry. A short day down to Stephen Cox.
Well, the 11 cars had his share of troubles. This is Dusty Williams' machine tonight. This is Dusty's first ride in this car. Actually, Kevin Barrett has piloted this machine throughout most of the year, but tonight they switched to a new driver, and they've got some problems with the left rear, and I'll tell you, they are giving them the cut off the engine sign. Whatever the difficulty is, guys, it is more than body work on the race car. Dusty has some real problems with this machine.
A little less urgency, though, because caution's on the speedway. Down in turn 4, Mickey Hudspeth has taken the Junior Johnson Country Ham entry number 26 around and is trying to get going again. We'll have a look at it from the back of the Miller Lite 67 of Darrell Gwynn.
Yeah, he got a little help there. Definitely coming off the corner at that part of the racetrack. You don't spin usually unless you have a little help.
So Hudspeth goes back out on the racetrack, but the 11 car is going behind the wall.
Well, Dusty Williams is going to have to put this car behind the wall. As it turned out, they broke a panhard bar. Now, what it looked like when they came in was the left rear fender rubbing the left rear wheel. That's a very common thing, puts out a lot of smoke. Well, actually, the fender didn't move. The wheel did. The panhard bar completely broke. The wheel was actually jacked around just enough to come into contact with the bodywork, and Dusty is out.
Young Dusty Williams looking forward to racing here in the Hooters Pro Cup Series tonight. Also down on pit road, the 15 car of Bill Plemons Jr., who parked his Ford Taurus with a broken engine, brought out last year's Chevy. Stephen, what's going on down there now?
This is not Bill Plemons Jr.'s normal car. This is a backup car. Now, about 90% of this machine is brand new, but nevertheless, they had no practice time whatsoever in this car. They're going to come in and make a major wedge adjustment on the right rear. They are also going to work on the front left of the car and try to squeeze out a spring rubber and loosen up that front left and let it absorb just a little bit more weight. They're trying to make some major changes to the handling of this car. Bill had no opportunity to practice whatsoever. The engine broke very, very late in the day's practice session, so he had to jump into his backup car and go out and qualify with no laps in this machine.
Bill Clemens Jr. takes the Hooters car back out onto the racetrack. The crew still scrambling, trying to fix or make it better, you might say. Some cars are mighty good, some are not. We'll be right back. United Speed Alliance Racing, the Hooters Pro Cup Series for the year 2000 presents the Miller Lite 250, round 5 of the 20-race season here at Peach State Speedway. Glad you could join us. Brian Drever, Bill Venturini, and Stephen Cox doing the honors for you at home as the field circles the racetrack here and gets ready to go back to the green flag after our third caution of the evening. And now alongside is the 26 of Mickey Hudspeth, who had a problem, and John Wood is one spot behind him, while leader Stephen Christian will try to hold off Bobby Gill, who's running in second position, and Mario Gosselin, who's third. The rookies Rogers and Vickers round out the top 5 as we look at our Discount Auto Parts field summary, and the 10 rounded out by David Pletcher. Charlie Ford with a nice quiet run, and Chad Chaffin continues to sort of move towards the front, and you would expect that out of the veteran driver. And Busch Series regular who drives for the Lear Corporation in the Busch Grand National. John Wood did not get his lap back once again. Let's go up front to Stephen Christian and listen in.
We don't need this, Scott. I know, but they're behind you. You're going to have to go. Let it go. Drop back and get in with it.
Bobby Gill takes the lead on lap number 46, and we have our first lead change of the race here in the Miller Lite 250 as the defending series champion goes to the point, and you heard Stephen Christian's crew chief Scott Sutherland tell him just drop in behind.
See, coming off of corner 4, Brian Vickers got a little sideways, and that allowed Chad Chaffin and Charlie Ford to kind of get underneath him coming off the corner.
Vickers trying to fall back in line. Chaffin jetting away a little bit. Charlie Ford's going to make the pass too, it looks like. After qualifying as well as he did, Brian Vickers has been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, Charlie's not going to give up that real estate right now. He's got the inside line, and he's going to make Brian Vickers really work that outside groove to stay there.
Charlie Ford in the Sun Graphics number 14 has been doing a great job over the last couple of races with some very consistent finishes. He's up there in the points and right where he wants and expected to be. Doing a good job of everything this year. There's Jeff Agnew, who's been leading a bit of a charge. A number of cars has been kind of coming up from behind, and again, cars that didn't qualify very well, but drivers like Jeff Agnew, who I think was in the top 10 in qualifying, and Marty Lindley, some of these guys said, you know, we know that our cars are better on longer runs. We're not really worried that we didn't start up front. Okay, and like these rookies have said, they felt like I've been picking on them this year because you've kind of sided with the rookies and I've taken the veterans. Look at Sean Studer in the USAR Chevrolet. I mean, he's really working right now. Wrecked his car really bad at Myrtle Beach, and he's got his other car out. And you know, these rookies are doing an excellent job this year. So, all right, guys, I'm not really picking on you. You've been doing a good job all year long. They certainly have. The rookie class of the year 2000, the most impressive in Hooters Pro Cup history, and these guys are good. Talk about Clayton Rogers. How many laps did he lead at Myrtle Beach? Yes, definitely. Before he got in trouble. And right now he's leading Mario Gosselin. And anybody that can do that has got to have some respect. Take a look at our Goodyear full field rundown. Bobby Gill is the new leader after 45 laps were led by Stephen Christian. Clayton Rogers trying to hold off Gosselin now is in third. There's Charlie Ford, Brian Vickers, and Agnew. We saw them a moment ago. And Studer, who you talked about. Buggy Pletcher still rounding out the top 10. Marty Lindley from 22nd up to 14th. And Mike Laughlin Jr. with a good run towards the front. Randy Gentry and the Georgia Boots car, Mike Herman Jr. and the today's Fireplaces right together there in the top 20. Stacy Perrier, he's struggling a little tonight because last previous races he's been kind of running up front. Karen Schultz, who got in the field quite well here in 24th spot. She's running right around the same position. Shane Huffman, who started near the back of the field, is also moving up a little bit. Bill Clemens Jr., who had to come in and has been making adjustments all race long, and you can see both Jabe Jones and Dusty Williams are the only ones out of the race. Hudspeth is still running, although he's down a lap. But Brian Vickers is going to have to get out of that outside groove right now because all he's doing is going backwards right now. And John Kinder in the 08 car has pulled off the racetrack, taking the DailyDrill.com Chevrolet out of the race. We're not sure why yet, but we will get to the bottom of that story. as we watch action inside the top 10 here with Buggy Pletcher. Studer slipping back a spot, and there you can see Mark Nesbitt. There's Jay Fogelman, and there is Marty Lindley, who started 22nd, said, you know what, my car is better than what I showed in qualifying. I made a couple little mistakes out there in qualifying, but I know this car is good, and it was, in fact, all day in practice.
Yeah, we had said he's got a good race car. He didn't have a car great for qualifying, but he had a good race car.
Mario Gosselin in the 16 has gotten around Clayton Rogers. So a position change there, and indeed, Stephen Cox has found his way over to John Kinder. Stephen?
Okay, well, tell me what happened to you out on the racetrack tonight.
Well, the DailyDrill.com car was running real good. We ended up having a little too much tape on the car. Water temperature went up, and we lost a little oil pressure and lost the cylinder, so we brought it in.
You done for the night now?
Yeah, unfortunately for Daily Drill and all our sponsors, we're going to be done for the night.
A recurring theme, Bill Venturini. Some guys got the tape off soon enough, some didn't.
Yeah, we kind of knew that, you know, before the race started, with the weather it was and the way the track conditions were, we had a feeling somebody was going to be having problems overheating tonight.
And where has the three-time Peach State winner been all night long, you might ask? We'll take a look at the number 97 of Marty Ward, who is up from 25th position. He's just ahead of the 12 car here. We got a glimpse of him, Tim Edwards, as we look at our field summary. Well, Marty Ward hasn't quite made it into the top 10 yet, but it won't be long. Bobby Gill is the leader, and like Stephen Christian before him, now it looks like Bobby Gill's trying to check out.
Yeah, I made a comment that you notice the sun's gone now. There's no sun. It's definitely just overcast, and different cars are going to change and react differently right now.
We're watching Karen Schultz in the Naturally Fresh Foods car, number 89. You're on board with the veteran driver and the only female in Hooters Pro Cup Series. And she is the subject of our feature this week here in Hooters Pro Cup 2000. Karen Schultz.
And I've always been around it. I was a little girl, and as I got a little older, I said, you know, I want to do that when I get older. And I had an opportunity to meet Bobby Unser when I was very young. And he said, if you're serious about racing, he says, you need to get involved in go-karts right now.
Karen took his advice and won a go-kart championship, and then she continued her success, winning Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR Dash.
And I don't try to look at myself as a female in a male sport, and I think that's where sometimes people can make a mistake doing that. But you know, I'm just plugging away, trying to do the best that I possibly can, and that's the whole heart of being a driver.
Karen loves racing and is dedicated to making herself and the team better, but when she isn't racing, she's teaching.
I work at the Richard Pay driving experience, so I guess you could say I'm kind of a bum because I have so much fun doing it, I can't believe that it's considered a real job. When they're out there and you're giving people simulated runs at 165 miles an hour, they want professional drivers because they want our abilities out there for the students. There's a thrill or sensation when the green flag drops that I can't explain. Not just what you get when you're out there physically driving, but the association between the spotter and the crew chief and the driver and what we accomplish. And when you win or when you set on the pole for that night, you are the best out of those 32, 36 cars that are there for that evening. I mean, it doesn't matter to me what we're racing, as long as the bills are paid, we're all having fun, we're out there doing what we enjoy doing and making a living, able to put food on the table. That's the best part of life. If you can do that, then you got it knocked.
Bill, I think we'd have to echo that sentiment, you know, guys that don't have real jobs like you and me.
Oh, yeah, okay. And we've got to thank the sponsors like Discount Auto Parts and Hooters and Naturally Fresh. Without those series sponsors and the team sponsors, this wouldn't be possible for any of us.
Look at the field summary there. Martin Nesbitt and Jerry Rector, who started 15th and 16th, are in the top 10. So there are, in fact, a number of drivers moving up, not just Marty Lindley and Marty Ward, both of whom are definitely marching towards the front. Bill Clemens Jr.'s struggles continue as he's back there, you know, in the back and up on the high line, as is Jay Fogelman, who just brushed the wall, I think.
Yeah, you got to remember Bill Clemens Jr. is in a backup car, so he wasn't prepared to be racing with this car tonight. You know, when he first went out in practice, he was with his Ford, and you get into that sync on, and I don't mean just the Ford and Chevy deal. It was a different type of chassis, so he had to come out late in practice with the new backup car, so he's struggling just with that. And look at Jeff Agnew. Look at the front end of his car. I hope we can get a good shot at the front end. His whole nose is tore up. I think he may have some overheating problems later on.
Agnew started 8th. They're battling for 6th. Chad Chaffin is definitely moving forward. We've talked about that a bit. He started 11th, so it's not a dramatic move. And there, in fact, is the damage to the front of Jeff Agnew's car.
Yeah, the bad part is, though, somebody's got to have back-end damage just as bad.
Dave Pletcher, Buggy Pletcher in the 51, Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce car right behind them.
We're looking to make it 3 wide.
Yeah, indeed. There's a bit of a gap in front of this battle up to the rest of the car. Martin Nesbitt there, State Fair brand Corn Dogs car number 30. Mike Laughlin Jr. in the Valinite Tools 7. So a lot of guys racing a little bit deeper in the field. Here you can see it's 3 seconds back to Mario Gosselin from leader Bobby Gill, with Steve Christian just a tick off the leader's time. Christian who led the first 45 laps, and Bobby Gill now getting into the traffic, some of which we were watching a while ago. He goes past the 28 of Regan Smith and the number 1 of Don Satterfield in the Hawk Saw Blades entry. Hawk Saw Blades, those big band saw blades that the crew chiefs love back in their fabrication shop. And Don Satterfield's sponsor, Hawk Saw Blades, very quietly gives one of those big bandsaw blades to the car and the crew that finishes 20th in every race.
Yeah, I wonder if I should talk to Don. I just had to order some saw blades this week.
They also provide saw blades to a lot of the race car teams around the country in virtually every series. Agnew, Pletcher, and now Chaffin has slipped behind them both. So Dave Pletcher getting around the 25 of Chad Chaffin. And a little loose.
A little loose coming off the corner.
Agnew, in spite of the front end damage to his car, now goes down inside on Darrell Gwynn in the Miller Lite number 67. Gwynn, who started in the very back of the field with a provisional entry. There's Chaffin.
Look at his car wiggling.
Pedaling a little bit off the corner.
You know, you sit in the stands or you sit at home and you watch it on TV, and it's really hard to realize how much these cars really do move around. When you're in the seat of that car, you're pretty well moving that steering wheel, even down the straightaway, because the car's kind of, the power on it's kind of spinning the tires. Oh, look at this, look at this.
Oh, real good look off the back of Darrell Gwynn's car as some of the better handling cars, and a good look at the drivers inside the helmets, inside the lead cars. Bobby Gill, Steve Christian leading them all, and the rest of the top 10. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Jefferson, Georgia, and the USAR Hooters Pro Cup. Miller Lite 250. Looking at some action a little bit deeper in the field. There's Mike Herman in today's fireplace is number 34. He's just been passed by Marty Lindley, and Lindley is marching towards the front big time from his number 22 start spot. We're seeing Mike Laughlin Jr. with a very fine handling race car there, number 7, as we look at our Discount Auto Parts top 10.
Yeah, speaking of
Lindley
Marty,
has broken into the top 10.
He's in 10th right now.
Lindley doing a great job. The official winner from the Myrtle Beach race, his first career win came, and with a fast race car here tonight, he would love to validate that victory with a good finish here tonight as well, as Bobby Gill, our race leader, has gone around Bill Clemens Jr.'s number 15 Hooters car, and he's working on the back of Karen Schultz in the 89 Naturally Fresh car. So the leader putting a lot of good race cars a lap down here tonight. Stephen Christian lapped quite a few cars. Bobby Gill is continuing with that effort. There is a look from on board. Stephen Christian's Lucas Oil Chevrolet, 1999 Rookie of the Year, running in second spot right now. He's behind Clemens. Gill is in front of him.
Yeah, right now the leaders are going to start to put a lot of guys, like you said, a lap down, because you can see there's a lot of cars in front of them, you know, a lot of lap traffic. Well, they're not lapped yet, but they are the slower traffic, and pretty soon there's going to be a lot of guys a lap down. And
a lot of green flag laps is the reason for that. We have not bunched the field up for quite a while here under caution as we watch Marty Lindley.
You also got to
Hallelujah car.
Yeah, you also got to realize that nobody's really made pit stops to adjust on their cars. The only one that we saw that made any type of adjustment was John Wood, where he came in, made a chassis change and an air pressure change. But you know, most of these guys haven't made their changes yet. And the whole key to a race is that very seldom do you hit a car perfect at the start of the race. You got to adjust on it through the race, and nobody's really had that chance to do it so far.
Agnew trying to pick the high line there, but it didn't really work. He got stuck behind the 26 of Mickey Hudspeth and lost a couple of spots as Lindley went down low and underneath him. Now Jeff Agnew falls in line behind Marty Lindley, figuring, hey, if this guy's going to the front, I'm going with him.
You see these two cars, Marty Lindley and Jeff Agnew, they seem to be using a little different line than everyone else. They kind of go into the corner low. Right in the center of the corner, they let the car wash up a half a lane. And they're the only two guys I've seen doing it right now. And look, see, well, they have to do it now because they're going to try and go around somebody in the outside. But it just seems like their cars seem to be working a little better right there.
What they're working on right now are lead lap cars. Jerry Rector, who's in 7th spot, Lindley 8th. And the battle for 6th is because Buggy Pletcher in the 51 has got that spot. And look at Bobby Gill about to put Derek Kelly in the Discount Auto Parts Chevrolet a lap down.
That's a team that's really had some bad luck and been struggling all year long. That Derek Kelly, Discount Auto Parts Chevrolet, you know, they had such good expectations and high hopes for this year, and they just seem that they haven't hit on all 8 cylinders yet.
Well, they brought a brand new race car out and tore it up at Myrtle Beach. Barely made the field on a provisional. Managed a good finish out of that one, really, considering what they had been through. But Harold Hopper and the guys in the Discount Auto Parts crew are still working on it. Chaffin going a lap down, and Bobby Gill is really working them now. Yeah, Bobby,
you know, he's so smooth in traffic. You know, you don't even realize how fast he is because he just kind of cruises through traffic, and it doesn't seem like he slows down much, because what he does is, you know, that comes with, and I'm not going to just pick, oh, it looks like Martin Nesbitt's you know, off the pace right now.
Big problem.
But, you know, I'm not going to pick on the rookies, but the veteran is able to see things happening, I think, a little faster than a rookie is, and Bobby Gill just doesn't slow up in traffic.
Martin Nesbitt is definitely slowing down on the racetrack,
yeah,
and you saw it from Darrell Gwynn's car as he looks at Mario Gosselin, the front end of the number 16. Gosselin really driving that Carter Grandel Irmo Grading Addy Dodge number 16 car. He was expecting to get a new car in St. Augustine, but they have not been able to get that new car together for him, so he's wrestling around, as he puts it, kind of a jalopy, but you know what, Gosselin can do that.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Oh, flat tire, front tire.
And Stephen Cox is heading that way as Martin Nesbitt goes down for some attention from the crew. Stephen is hustling in that direction.
Well, Mark Nesbitt is into the pits right now, Brian, trying to change that front right tire that he cut down just a few moments ago. You know, they're struggling with a chassis that is very old. Every chassis has a certain envelope, if you will, of what it will and what it won't do. Well, they've rebuilt this and then rebuilt it again. Billy Hess did a tremendous job helping out the State Fair Corn Dogs team, and they've done everything they could possibly do, and they think they're about to the end of what this chassis will do. But wait till July, a new one's on the way.
On board with Stephen Christian, looking at Derek Kelly going a lap down to the leader Bobby Gill, and now to the second place car. Bill Clements Jr. trying to hold him off, and here comes Martin Nesbitt out of the pits.
Yeah, you even heard them guys complain that, well, you know, we have to have a new chassis. You got to start coming up with the new technology, and it seems like Billy Hess has really got this whole series dialed in. He's got some really fast cars running up front right now.
Well, it seems to be that the series is so competitive, you've got to have state-of-the-art equipment if you're going to compete. And the guys that don't are complaining. The guys that do are winning.
Yeah, well, you know, look at Marty Wharton, and this guy knows how to get around this place.
And he's got his chassis. This is exactly the same car that he won 2 races with last year. And he said, you know what? This thing has got a 1991 serial number on it. I spoke to him before the start of the race, and we spoke to him about just what his secret here might be.
Well, if I told that, everybody up through here has been coming wanting to know, and I'm not going to tell that because they're going to see this. So, you know, I don't want to have to chase them no more than I have to chase them. So if I tell that, when we come back, I'll have to chase them. So I've told Agnew a few things today, and I've noticed they've been over here changing a bunch of stuff, and every time I go on the racetrack, look in the mirror, and Agnew's behind me, you know. So, like I say, this place, I kind of know what it does at night. That's the key to the place. If you know what to adapt to as the sun goes down and the track gets heat back from the cars, not the sun, that's the key to the place.
Marty Ward working on Randy Gentry and Sean Studer and lining them both up for a pass here. It looks like he's down inside on Gentry.
I had my notebook and pen ready to hear the secrets, and he was sharp enough not to tell us.
Yeah, and by the way, Bill Sr. here dying 1,000 deaths because Billy Jr.'s running up in Charlotte tonight, and we understand he's doing pretty doggone good, 11th.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Bill.
He got the official finish, and he finished at 11th. And I got to thank, Bill Plemons Jr. and his Incentive Risk Management Company was one of our sponsors for the show.
Our look at the Goodyear full field rundown. Jerry Rector up to 6th. Charlie Ford is the one that gave up that spot, so a lot of racing in the top 10. Now start to look at the guys who are moving up, including Marty Ward, who's up from 25th to 14th. Tim Edwards in 15th. Tim Clayton in the 07 Budweiser car running in 17th spot. Curtis Davis in the 00.
Shane Hoffman in the Johnsonville Bratwurst Ford starting to break in the top 20.
Derek Kelly, the 21 car, is 21st. How come that happens every race? And John Wood lost a lap early. He's 27th right now. Brian Vickers has been pedaling backwards after qualifying very well. Darrell Hayes up from last place starter to 31st, so he's marching towards the front, and including John Kinder now, 3 cars are out of the race. Marty Lindley is the guy really on the move here right now in the Alleluia Rednecks Beef Jerky Ford.
Well, what I like about what Marty Lindley's done is he's used the outside groove to move forward. And that's impressive. That tells me that he's not using up his tires right now. And speaking of tires, Jay Fogelman's changing them under green. Let's go down to Steven and see what he's doing.
Jay Fogelman has not had the race that he wanted. He's come out, really gone straight backwards for the last 20 laps or so, so he's going to actually make his pit stop under green. Now, what he felt in the race car was, they believe, a left front tire going down. So we'll take a look and see if his handling improves. But Jay Fogelman, again, way off the pace, and now they're having problems getting the jack underneath the left side of the car. Remember, this is a green flag pit stop. It's costing them multiple laps right now, all because of the front left tire, which was losing air.
Tough break for Jay Fogelman, who, by the way, announced that he has got a partial or a 10-race Busch deal. So we will see some of Jay Fogelman, but not as much as we would have before. Bobby Gill, everybody's seen a lot of him out there tonight in that bright green numbered PGT Industries number 5. John Wood, Chad Chaffin, and Mickey Hudspeth down low on Andy Thurman, who's got problems tonight.
Yeah, that's Reagan Smith on the inside right now, going underneath the Andy Thurman.
4th and 5th place cars more than a half lap behind leader Bobby Gill. He has really got the time card punched in now. Whoa!
Definitely Chad Chaffin had a little help. Good job on not wrecking.
Marty Lindley behind Darrell Gwynn as Fogelman.
Man, look at the difference new tires make. Jay Fogelman just drives underneath Marty Lindley, who seemed to be like the fastest car on the racetrack. You know, Jay Fogelman came in, put on those 4 tires. It just drove right under him like, like there was no problem.
Well, he's definitely passing cars big time right now as we take a look at the top 10 once again, approaching the halfway mark. Stay with us. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup, round 5. The Miller Lite 250 from Jefferson, Georgia. Take a look at the field summary. Bobby Gill, Stephen Christian, and a man who often leads, but not yet tonight, Mario Gosselin. Charlie Ford and Jerry Rector, you're watching them battle for 6th and 7th position.
And look who's in 10th, Marty Ward.
Up from 25th, but we've been seeing that coming for the first half of this race. We are approaching the halfway mark. Jerry Rector, for the 2nd week in a row, having a good run. We talked to him about that.
Well, we need to run more regular, really, and have a sponsorship. We don't have the money, and we all got a job and work, and we don't have the time to put into it like a lot of the other teams do. We very seldom get to go test, to get the car better. We just show up at the racetrack and fight it for 2 hours and try to go with that,
You know, I would think still that last week would be, if nothing else, a tremendous confidence booster for you guys. I mean, you led a good number of laps.
Well, it makes the team feel a whole lot better. You know, it makes them show up and help you and all that. After you run bad for a while, it's hard to get them enthused about working on it. You know, everybody gets in a better mood and things seem to go better. You know.
Boy, Brian, I can relate to that. This racing business, you know, you don't have that many good days, and when you have a good run on a weekend, it's like a shot in the arm. It's the boost that the team needs, and sometimes you only need 1 or 2 of those good races, and they'll carry you through the whole season.
Well, it seems to be coming true with Jerry Rector having a good run here tonight after finishing well in Myrtle Beach. Working around the outside there is Jeff Agnew, and now we go back to the leader, Bobby Gill, as he closes in on the halfway mark, and look at that.
Yeah, we're laughing. We're looking at the graphics here. 2 DNFs. I mean, this guy, you know, he's won 2 races, but the reason he's not leading the points is that 2 DNFs. That shows how critical it is that you have to finish these races.
He started the season with a mechanical DNF. He picked up 2 victories, and then at Myrtle Beach, after being black flagged for an on-track incident, the motor broke. He said he went home, changed cylinder heads, had a cracked cylinder head, he lost some push rods, same engine, new cylinder heads. Bobby Gill, you know he's been working hard before he got to the racetrack, and you know he works hard when he gets here. Take a look at our Discount Auto Parts field summary. Bobby Gill started 5th, he leads. Marty Lindley started 22nd, he's 5th. Marty Ward's up to 9th from 25th, and we've talked about that. He just keeps heading to the front.
And look how smooth this Bobby Gill guy is. I mean, he just goes underneath Mike Laughlin Jr. in the Valinite Tool Incentive Risk Management Ford. I mean, he's so smooth. It looks like he's running slow because he's so smooth, but he's just passing everybody.
And he's brilliant in traffic, and that perhaps is where Bobby Gill is so deceptively fast. Yes, he's run away from Steve Christian and the rest of the field here on the track, but a lot of that is because he works the traffic so well. And we've said it before, this guy bolts his hard hat on tight, brings his lunch pail, and just goes to work when he gets to the racetrack.
Yeah, you want to see somebody serious about racing. Bobby Gill's, you know, the picture-perfect type of a guy. You know, he's so hard to interview because he's so serious when he gets to the racetrack. You know, away from the racetrack, you can get some laughs out of him, you can get him to smile. Here, he is so serious about it, you know, but it shows. Look at, he's running up front.
Hey, he's getting the job done, and that's what it takes. Steven Christian running in 2nd spot. There he is. Look how far behind. Let's listen in on the crew on the radio.
Not on the brakes or anything. Rolling through the center, believe it or not. Starting to get loose. That's all right. Just trying to drive it off the left rear when you're coming off. Roll a little front brake to it and control it if you have to.
You hear what Steve said? He said, right, I'm not even on the brake, but right in the center of the corner, the car still wants to get loose. That's 2 reasons for that. First of all, the car's not right, so you guarantee when they come in to make their pit stop, they're going to make a chassis adjustment. But the other part is this racetrack is so abrasive that it's using the tires up. And I think they've got a combination of a tire skate along with the chassis just not being right.
Bobby Gill, 1 lap to the halfway prize, the Lucas Oil Products halfway award, and without any real challenge from other lead lap cars, it would appear that Bobby Gill has got this one sewn up. Mario Gosselin running in 3rd is almost a half lap behind leader Bobby Gill. And the Lucas Oil halfway challenge will go to Bobby Gill, coming off turn number 4 and heading down towards the stripe. So at lap number 125, he has led a total of 79 laps. There has been only 1 lead change when Bobby Gill passed Steve Christian, or Christian let him go by and then tried to follow him. So now Bobby Gill picks up the halfway award and keeps right on going. It is hard to believe that they haven't had, you know, the leaders have not pitted. We've been under green almost from the beginning of this race, only 3 cautions.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure what Bobby Gill's doing, though, is he's taking advantage of that. By no one being able to change, make chassis changes or change tires, and his car's working so good, he just keeps putting cars, you know, laps down. And what has he got? I think there's only 10 cars on the lead lap right now.
11, and I think Studer is 11th right now. Pletcher just in front of him was a top 10 car, and so Bobby Gill is definitely working on the tail end of the top 10 here, just halfway into this race. He's going down low on Andy Thurman, who we saw with problems a while ago. And there goes Bobby Gill around Studer. No, he's underneath Studer, and Pletcher's right in front. Here's Jay Fogelman, who changed tires not too long ago, and he's going well.
Look at that. You made the comment. He changed tires. Look at the difference what fresh tires do. You know, Jay Fogelman's actually keeping up with Bobby Gill because he's the only guy right now on fresh tires.
And Karen Schultz in the 80. Oh, and look at this. A caution's coming out quickly, and that's Andy Thurman, who is also an instructor at the Petty School with Karen Schultz, but Thurman takes the naturally fresh Mountain Springwater car around.
I know he was involved with a couple other cars. I couldn't quite see what had happened, but I knew he was just getting into with 00 Curtis Davis and Eddie Pearson.
Yeah, watch the upper left, they're telling us. Yep, there's the smoke. And the 00 is in the neighborhood, also Eddie Pearson's car.
Can't quite tell if somebody got in him. Somebody had to get in him, but you're not quite sure. We couldn't tell from that angle.
Well, the crowd's settling into their seats a little bit, just past halfway. We're settling into the second half. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And introducing a great new dressing from Naturally Fresh. Classic Caesar, a special Caesar taste from Naturally Fresh. Sean Studer being held down on pit road after passing the leader. He had been passed, and so he's being penalized. He's not too happy about it, but hey, that's what happens. So Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink car. There's leader Bobby Gill down on pit road, and now Stephen Cox has got his work cut out for him. Stephen?
Well, your leader comes into the pits, the number 5 of Bobby Gill, and I was talking with the crew chief, Steve Dews, just before Bobby came in, and I said, hey, what kind of changes are you going to make? And he looked at me with one of those, are you out of your mind looks? And he said, the car's really pretty good. We're really moving through the field all right. No big changes there. Now the 14 car is right behind him. That is Charlie Ford, and what a tremendous run for Charlie Ford. He held off Chad Chapman for a while, a big run from the 25 car before Chad dropped off the pace. They also have such a good car. They're going to change tires. They're going to come back in and change all 4 in just a moment. That was only a 2-tire stop, and then they're going to call it quits without touching anything else.
Yeah, I noticed that Charlie Ford only changed 2 where Bobby Gill took on all 4.
Well, he was sticking out in pit road a little bit too. There goes Mario Gosselin back out onto the racetrack. Let's go back down to Stephen for the second round.
Well, the 25 car of Chad Chaffin was not supposed to be driven by Chad at all. His father, Neil Chaffin, was actually going to take this thing out, and then they decided Neil just wasn't getting the speed that they wanted. And, of course, Chad is an outstanding Busch driver. He's going to make a change there to the right rear. That's about the only thing they're going to do. They're going to take on 4 tires, but they thought, you know, let's let Chad get in this thing and see what happens. This is the first ride for Chad back with us again this year, guys.
Steve Christian will be your restart leader. He was in second position, but his crew did just a little bit better job of getting him out. And there you can see that Christian was second. He's now first. Charlie Ford sixth is now second, and Bobby Gill comes out third. United Speed Alliance Racing, the Hooters Pro Cup Series for the year 2000 continues with the Miller Lite 250 round 5, and pit stop action continues with Trent Owens in the number 32 car still up on the jacks. A few others coming around. Andy Thurman heading for his pit stall. And on the back quarter panel there are stickers representing Lee Petty, of course, and Adam Petty. The Petty family losing 2 members of their family over the last 5.5 weeks. Let's go downstairs to Stephen Cox, who's on pit road.
Well, Brian Vickers is undergoing some major changes on this car. Both left side tires are going to have some air pressure taken out of them. Brian was your outside pole sitter. He went a lap down very early and has been off the pace ever since. And this is an extended pit stop, and the leaders are now coming through 1 and 2. So if Brian doesn't get back on it, he's going to lose a lap. And the shame of it is he'll lose a lap under yellow.
Yeah, I don't think his crew guys are going to let him lose a lap.
Now, if you think you've got the best seat in the house on your easy chair at home, think again. This guy's been flying around here all evening long, and maybe he'll be at Lakeland too if he hurries and makes about 19 gas stops along the way. We'll see him at our next stop. We'll take a look at the Lucas Oil halfway recap right now if you're just joining us. Second lap of the race, the first incident here is Dusty Williams and the 28 car of Regan Smith got together there. Williams in behind the wheel of the number 11 car for the first time, and then problems continued for him as he tapped the wall, knocked the Panhard bar out of shape, took it around, and eventually retired from the race. Adjustments for John Wood in the GoRacing.com. Number 116 had qualified on the outside of row number 2. They lost a lap right at the beginning of the race and have been struggling ever since. Then the first and so far the only lead change really of the race is Bobby Gill passed Stephen Christian on the racetrack. On lap number 112, we began to notice that Marty Lindley had gone from 22nd on the grid to 5th on the racetrack, and that's kind of been the way it's going on so far. Stephen Christian has in fact retaken the lead, but that was because he passed Bobby Gill on pit road. And now he goes back to green and for the second time is the leader in the Miller Lite 250 here at Peach State Speedway, or Jeffco as the locals call it. Here's our field summary, Discount Auto Parts after the pit stops, and there you can see the run order representative Marty Lindley's 4th now.
Hey, Steve Christian got a good jump on that restart now. Jay Fogelman's running behind him, but he's not running second. Got to remember, he had to pit earlier, and he lost a lap, and he's got his fresh tires on. That's why he's able to kind of been able to run with them. But you know, these other guys that pitted just a few laps ago, you're going to see that coming through the pack real quick.
Jay Fogelman up behind Stephen Christian, and so far those two are the most closely matched. Bobby Gill trying to close a little bit of a gap right now with one lap car in front of him. There are 10 cars on the lead lap, and that Discount Auto Parts field summary showed you all 10 of them, ending with number 51, David Pletcher in the Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce car. So 10 cars on the lead lap. Steve Christian is the leader. Marty Lindley 4th.
Look at Marty Lindley going on the outside of Mario Gosselin.
Yep, and Lindley's been using that outside line all night long. Mario Gosselin has had to try to keep his car down on the low side. The Carter Grandel 16 has been working better on the low side of the racetrack.
Now the car in front of him, Charlie Ford, remember, he only took on 2 tires on that pit stop. He does not have 4 like the rest of these guys.
No, and he is losing ground noticeably out there, as now they are about to overtake him. Charlie Ford in the Sun Graphics number 14 went from 2nd to 3rd, and now it looks like he's going to go from 3rd to 6th.
Yeah, did you see that move Marty Lindley put on Mario Gosselin? What I mean by that is he used Charlie Ford as a pick. He knew that they were running side by side. You know, Marty was on the outside. He says, I don't want to use up the car too much. I'll just run Mario into the slower car.
And he did that, so Mario Gosselin, who's used to putting moves like that on people, had one put on himself. Bobby Gill running in 2nd spot, of course, is crew chief by the Dews.
Steve, you came in 1st and you went out 3rd. What happened?
Well, best I can tell, the 14 only took 2 tires, and he's jumped already. The 0 car, I don't know what they did. Maybe they might have beat us. I don't care. We're good enough for the rest of the race.
Well, I guess he said it. He don't care. We don't even care. We come out 5th, 6th. Who cares? We got Bobby Gill behind the wheel.
That's right. And Stephen Christian leads Bobby Gill, but Gill's all over him. There's the rundown. Gosselin 4th, Lindley up to 3rd. Jerry Rector's good run continues. And yes, Charlie Ford, I'm not sure if I would have said what Dews did. He's junk already, but you know what? He's going backwards.
Marty Ward's now up in 8th.
Yeah, well, there he is.
8th. There he is.
You know, it's not hard to spot that bright orange number 97 by the Harrison's Workwear Works entry. Works work boots, you know, and these guys are awful happy to have them. And look at Jeff Agnew, oh boy, and Shane Huffman. Yeah, we saw that happening over on the other side, down in the turn 1 area. The pace car is getting ready to come out, and just at the end of the front stretch, Shane Huffman, and he's not even going to try. He's just going to take that car right down to the exit road and leave. Here's what happened.
Oh, you can see.
Oh, per year.
Well, now first he hit, it looks like to me like he hit the outside wall first, bounced off the wall, and then he jumped in front of Purrier, and Purrier had nowhere to go but hit him.
I'll buy that all the way. Shane Huffman took the car up into the wall. Stacy Purrier tagged him, but that was just adding a little insult to the injury that had already happened. And you can see a very injured race car, and Shane Huffman is done for the night, it looks like. We'll be back. Welcome back to Jefferson, Georgia. And yes, there are more than a few good reasons to come to a Hooters Pro Cup race. As Charlie Ford takes his car down on pit road for the second time. Steven?
Now, Charlie Ford was running way up front. He has all night long, and he gave himself a huge benefit whenever he came in under the last yellow and only changed 2 tires. Well, the crew chief told me before he went out they were going to change all 4, but they ran out of time. They didn't have an opportunity because they got stuck so far out away from pit wall, it took the crew forever to get out there and really get the job done. So Charlie comes back in, makes his second and hopefully final pit stop, and now he has 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, 4 tires, but a long way to go.
Stacy Purrier's crew going to work on the Black's Tire Services car, making some damage repairs after he made contact with Shane Huffman, who had made contact with the wall, and Stephen Christian gets set to take him back to the green flag in the Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet with Bobby Gill second, Marty Lindley third, Mario Gosselin fourth, and Jerry Rector's number 77 rounding out the top 5. We go green on lap 152, under 100 to go for the finish of this one. Marty Ward right in the thick of things now. Oh, and a caution's coming out quick because Don Satterfield's number 1 car is on fire, or was briefly, and the 45 of Darrell Hayes is involved as well.
I couldn't quite see what happened, but man, you saw the car definitely erupt in flames.
And then go out very quickly as Don Satterfield jumped on the button there. Now he's down on pit road. The fire crew is going to try to help make sure that that blaze is out. And Don Satterfield, unfortunately, looks like he's going to be out. And there they are, 2 cars, but the damage is already done there. Pyrotechnics galore. And then very quickly, the fire goes out on Satterfield's Hawk Saw Blades car. And while the safety crew takes a look at the car, we're going to go to this week's Tech Tip with Stephen Cox. I think you'll like it.
Bill, your car's on fire. You need to get out.
About 18 inches below this decal is a 22-gallon fuel cell with a whole lot of combustible high-grade racing fuel in it. And every now and then, the worst does happen and it catches fire. When that happens, Steve Christian, you've got a lot of stuff to protect you.
We really do. You know, that's one of the biggest things and biggest fears of drivers is having a fire start while you're strapped in this race car making laps or you've just had an accident. So we've got an onboard fire system to help combat that situation. We've got a fire bottle similar to what you would have in a fire extinguisher at home with a squeeze handle. The difference for us is we've got a cable where we can pull this and activate it at any time we feel necessary. And once you pull it, it goes. So it's not that you have to hold it on constantly. You pull it and it's activated and it's spraying until that bottle's empty, and hopefully the fire's out, you're out of the car by then.
Now, you've had to do that before.
It has happened.
How long does it spray?
Longer than it took me to get out of the car, thank goodness. But we had a situation at Bristol one year where we had a fuel line that was loose. It came loose and a fire started in the front, and it literally burnt the front of the car pretty bad. But this kept the fire off of me in time for me to get the wheel off, get the belts off, get the radio unhooked, and get out of the car.
You ever had one go off accidentally?
One time.
What happened?
I had one in a pit in practice one year. I was tightening the seat belts trying to get out, and instead of a pull cable, it had a push button that you activate it with, and my hand slips off this, hits that push button, and off it goes while we're sitting in the pits. One of those most embarrassing moments you really don't want to talk about, but since you brought it up.
And you don't want to do that accidentally because it makes a mess of things.
It does. It puts this stuff all over the car, not to mention the fact that now you've got an empty fire bottle you've got to have refilled before you can even go out and make another practice lap.
Do you have a shut-off valve?
No valve to shut it off. Once it starts, it goes.
A timely tech tip from Stephen Cox here, considering what just happened to Don Satterfield and also to Darrell Hayes. But now Stephen Cox has caught up with the driver of the #1 Hawk Saw Blades car.
Well, Don Satterfield, the first thing he said was, hey guys, let's get this thing on in here as fast as we can. He may want to go back out. Don, first of all, are you okay?
Yeah, them boys in front of me, they just beating and banging and shot that 45 back up in front of me. That's just a damn shame.
Now tell me, are you going to try to take this back out? You're really doing well in the points here.
Oh yeah, I got to. They're going to put a radiator in right now, yeah. Yeah, we're going back right now as soon as they get done with it. Red.
Well, that's what you got to do when you're running for points.
No uncertain terms. Don Satterfield's going back out there if he only makes one more lap. You don't know how many guys will come out of the race from now on. Welcome back to the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Miller Lite 250. Still racing here as Marty Lindley's on the high line. And Mario Gosselin's down low with Tim Edwards on pit road in the number 12 car, the Edwards Racing Chevrolet. Our Goodyear full field rundown. You saw the top 5. Clayton Rogers starts the second 5, and Charlie Ford went from, well, he went from second all the way back to 10th. He's the last car on the lead lap now. The rest of these cars are at least one lap down because Bobby Gill, under that long green flag run, put them a lap down. We're watching Derek Kelly, one of those lap cars, going awful fast there alongside Jerry Rector. Don Satterfield out of the race for now anyway. He says he's going back. Let's go downstairs now for a report from Stephen Cox. Stephen?
Everything in auto racing has a purpose. Even the color of lettering. Now this pink lettering is not just because it's pretty, they can see it better after dark. That's also why some of the teams actually make a big X on top of their dust cap. They do it in pink because it's a more fluorescent color. And when nighttime comes in the latter part of the race, they can see their spare parts better when they're fishing around in the dark in the pits. So everything has a purpose.
All right, LRQPS, left rear qualifying tire, Peach State Speedway. That's what those letters stand for.
And he's talking about on the dust cap,
right.
They actually, it's not actually a cross, it's a star. 5 point, because each of those little lines points to a lug nut. And they also paint the lug nuts pink with that same marker, and the ends of the lug studs, it gives them a better target. I asked one of the crew guys about that, and he said, it's not because we're trying to get in touch with our feminine side, no. It's so we can see the things better.
You know, also what happens is because there's so much brake dust from, you know, running the laps, the wheels actually get a black powder brake dust on it. And if you don't have those lug nuts, you know, painted a fluorescent color, it's hard to see them with the air gun, you know, with the socket.
They stand out against the usually black wheels, although I've seen pink against chrome, and that's very visual too. Stephen Christian, we're on board with him. Looking at Bobby Gill, who has retaken the lead, and Curtis Davis, who's in a bad place.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked to me like Curtis Davis kind of helped Steve Christian up about a half a groove in the corner.
And helped Bobby Gill get another half car length lead. Jerry Rector leading a freight train with Marty Ward in the middle of it. And this is a freight train heading towards the front.
Yeah, Bill Plemmons Jr. and Hooters Restaurant Chevrolet, you know, again, we had to bring it up again that he had problems with his primary car, and that's his backup car, and he didn't have much practice with it. So he's not doing bad, seeing he's just only had a few laps of practice in that car.
Bill Plemmons Jr. and his former crew chief.
Yep,
Marty
former
Ward.
crew chief running on his back bumper right now.
Marty Ward working around the outside in that work boot, number 97. We go back to Agnew, the 07 of Tim Clayton, the Budweiser car, and Charlie Ford, who is the last car on the lead lap. That's 9th and 10th right now. There's Marty Ward in that bright orange number 97. This is the car that he won twice with last year. The only thing he did was paint Works on the hood. That's all he did to change that car. It's the same car that he won twice with here last year. And it's an old car by his own admission. This thing has got a serial number from 1991, he said. That's amazing.
You know, sometimes an older car does work better at certain racetracks. It just, you know, you've got the setup, you know what the car will do, what it'll react to, any type of change you put into it. Sometimes I like to race a car that is older than a brand new one.
There you can see the time differentials, 4.5 seconds back to 5th place. Clayton Rogers, and Bobby Gill is doing it to him again. There's Stephen Christian, who has kept him close within a second, and Marty Lindley's right there too.
Well, this is the closest we've seen the first 3 cars, you know, after we've, you know, gone green flag racing for a couple laps, where the leader hasn't kind of run away and hid from anyone right now.
Well, there was another quarter second Bobby Gill put on 5th place in 1 lap. So he's a 10th or 2 faster than almost everybody, and almost means accepting Steve Christian and Marty Lindley.
Look at Marty Lindley in the Alleluia Ford, man. He is definitely using a different line than everyone else, and I don't know I don't know if it's because he wants to or only because the car will work up there, but he's not running the bottom groove. Like I said earlier, the only thing that's going to do is help save his tires.
Well, a noticeable different line by Mario Gosselin. And here, look, he's up, he straddles the first lane.
See that?
He straddles the first lane, drifts up out of it even, and then gets a run
off the
down the backstretch off the corner.
Gives him a better run off the corner. See, look at, he's at least a whole car width higher in the corner.
Gill and Christian down low. Now that's the other end of the racetrack. We'll watch him again here in turns 1 and 2. It looks like they're going in the same. Well, that's not a fair judge because we had a lap car. Yeah. But still, it's different.
Oh, this will be a good.
5.5 seconds now. Bobby Gill putting even more time on Clayton Rogers and on Mario Gosselin.
Oh, and that time Marty Lindley stays down on the bottom.
Bobby Gill, Stephen Christian, and Marty Lindley, 1, 2, 3. Very little difference this time around as they went through a little bit of traffic, but 3 cars are very evenly matched and the rest of the field is struggling.
Yeah, look out the window here, Brian. Look how dirty the window's starting to get. You know, these cars start to drip a little oil or a little water, and the rubber, actually those black marks are rubber, they're like little skid marks from the rubber flying off the tires from the cars in front of them.
Like bugs on our windshield out on the freeway. These guys are, Steve Christian weeble wobbled, but he didn't fall down.
But look at Marty Lindley looking on the outside.
Man. Watching Marty Lindley and Marty Ward has been has really been an eye-opening experience here for the last 50 or 75 laps. Both of those guys have really been the class of the field.
Right there, right there, right there. Coming off the corner when he's able to put his foot in at full throttle, you can see the difference on the bite from the outside groove to the inside lane, and how much of a better how much better of a jump Marty Lindley gets on Steve Christian.
And goes around him into second position. He drifts up the track, but it doesn't matter. Christian gets down low on him, but coming off the turn, Marty Lindley drives away again. And now he's working on Bobby Gill. We have gotten so used to seeing Bobby Gill out in front and looking so smooth as Curtis Davis goes down on pit road under green, and looks like he wants him to move the war wagon so he can get behind the wall even. I think maybe he's done for the night. Bobby Gill coming up on the 42 of Brian Vickers, who started on the front row.
Yeah, front row, and he's getting ready to be lapped.
So something definitely went away as Derek Kelly is slowing down now. The Discount Auto Parts Chevrolet.
Look at, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the left rear wheel.
Moving around in the wheel well, the track bar.
Track bar.
Yep.
You know, this is the second time he's had a track bar problem. I think the first race in Lakeland, Florida, it was he broke a rear track bar. Look, yeah, definitely.
It's, you know, a new car. I guess there's an upside to a new car because it's a new car. It's not worn out, and maybe it represents newer technology. You can build a lighter car, put the weight in different places. We heard guys talking about that. But a new car also means stuff is going to happen that you can't predict.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah,
Marty
Lindley
going around the outside of Bobby Gill.
Well, it didn't take him long to get around Stephen Christian.
In racing, we call that a power move, man. There is no doubt about it. He just motored around the outside of him. Getting back to Derek Kelly, you know, I call it a track bar, panner bar. Same thing. It just seems to be the terminology you happen to use at that specific time. It's actually the same piece on the race car.
And it's really the piece that keeps the rear end from moving left and right.
Yeah, laterally in the car. It keeps the
rear
end center in the car.
Bar, right. Marty Lindley didn't take him long to pass Bobby Gill, and he's still working that high line, which is so deceptive. It appears as though a car can get, you know, inside and under him in the turn, but no. He drives off.
Well, they can get inside and under him in the center of the corner, or maybe just a little coming off, but the minute he's got that car straight, there's no way anyone has as much bite coming off the corner, and the car just shoots off straight like a rocket.
So our third racing lead change.
Clayton Rogers.
Yep.
Running really strong again. And this young guy has impressed me this year. Okay, there you go.
Yep.
I get that's my second plug for the rookies. I'm done for the night. I just gave the second rookie a compliment.
Marty Ward, the veteran, down inside on Clayton Rogers, the rookie.
Come on, Marty, come on.
You know, a lot of these rookie drivers have impressed me, but maybe, I would say maybe none more than Clayton Rogers. This is a guy that doesn't quite have the resources of a John Wood, but he's got a very dedicated crew. He's got a lot of talent, obviously. He's led races, but had some bad luck while he was leading. Got into some fluid on the track from Bill Plemons' car giving up on him. but Clayton Rogers is validating a good performance from Myrtle Beach here tonight.
Yeah, but did you notice in the Goodyear Full Field rundown, the first 5 were all veterans?
Yeah, well, you know, tonight and all season long, really, the rookies have yet to win. They've made their mark in qualifying, and they've made their marks in the race, but indeed, the veteran drivers have prevailed when the checkered flag flies. Regan Smith in 21st spot, another rookie driver. Andy Thurman, Curtis Davis, we just saw pull off the racetrack. And Derek Kelly has retired for the evening as well, along with Satterfield, who has yet to get back out. His crew has said that, you know, he had said that he wants to. Well, not yet. We're watching the race here on Speed Vision, but we want you to run during the next commercial break to your computer and log on to USARProCup.com and check everything out that you possibly can.
I did that this week.
Was that you?
Yeah, I was on it.
I thought I saw you online, Bill. United Speed Alliance Racing Hooters Pro Cup 2000, the Miller Lite 250 here tonight at Peach Stage Speedway. Brian Drever, Bill Venturini, the fastest ARCA driver in history, and Stephen Cox roaming on pit road, watching Bobby Gill, who was passed for the lead a moment ago by Marty Lindley, and now he's trying to hold off Stephen Christian. That he'll probably get done. He's been consistently a little faster or even with Christian, so he should be able to stay out in front and hold on to second.
That last lap, I noticed Bobby Gill moved up in the center of the corner. Maybe he feels that, you know, Marty Lindley's got the right groove right now, and he figured, he's passed me. I'm not going to catch him where I'm at. I got to change something.
And Marty Ward still is marching towards the front. He's kind of, you know, he had a long way to go up to third. You know, the 3 lead cars kind of got away while he was working his way through traffic. Mario Gosselin, we saw Mario was sort of a distant 4th. Well, now Marty Ward caught and passed Mario. He's up there, but there's a lot of track in between him and the lead car right now. So Marty Ward needs a caution. I very much believe that he is as fast as Marty Lindley right now. And,
but
the watch seems to prove it.
Yeah, but you can't be as fast if you want to catch him. You got to be faster.
But if he would get it, and Clayton Rogers is having to really pedal it. Goes into the grass, stays on the gas, comes back up onto the pavement, and a nice save, and he was kind of all alone on the racetrack, and he didn't even lose a spot.
Oh, okay.
That was almost like a veteran would do it, right? Inside of Mario Gosselin, little bit of contact.
Little sparks flying as the car bottoms out, coming off the racetrack onto the apron. Right here is usually where you get yourself in trouble. Not here. You know, everybody kind of correct. He's got the wheel turned to the right, which is fine. Right there, when you hit the grass and that car starts to take off, is when almost everybody gets in trouble. He did an excellent job. All right, now there's the 3rd compliment for the rookies. He did an excellent job keeping that baby going straight.
I said it before. Clayton Rogers, a very impressive young man, as are most of these rookies out here.
Are these 4-wheelers?
Yeah.
Okay.
No training wheels on the rookie cars. The Wrecker guys have had a pretty busy night here tonight. They're going to take a little bit of a pause, and we are too, as we take a look at Marty Lindley leading this race for the first time. And Clayton Rogers leading the second 5. Marty Lindley in the Hallelujah Rednecks Beef Jerky Ford Taurus leads this race over Bobby Gill, Stephen Christian, Marty Ward, and Mario Gosselin. The top 5 here as we look at our Discount Auto Parts field summary. Then these are all of the lead lap cars. The top 10 only are lead lap cars right now. Everybody else has gone down at least 1 lap. And Marty Lindley is the only guy that can win the really big money in the 4 Champions Challenge. He was declared the winner at Myrtle Beach. If he can win 1, 2, or 3 more races and the championship, that's big bonus money. Stephen Cox now with Derek Kelly. Let's go downstairs.
Derek, you made pretty heavy contact coming off of turn 4. Did you throw anything in the chassis out?
Yeah, we broke a panhard bar. You know, the Discount Auto Parts Monte Carlo was running good early in the race.
New car, we're just trying to figure it out. Got it for qualifying, you know, just lost a lot of track position. Car's real good when we adjusted after our pit stop. Seemed to pick up a pretty bad push, just couldn't keep it out of the wall. Got 2 laps down when a pit gun fell on the front. Just like to thank our team and our sponsors for helping us be here. J. Dickens Racing Engine's been a good engine, and we'll get this thing figured out, and maybe the second half will be better than the first.
Back to racing and watching Marty Ward. You know, and again, my heart almost goes out to him. You know, by now, with all these green flags, we would have expected something to cause a caution flag, but no. And Marty Ward's struggles continue in that he's got a fast race car, but he's not really catching anybody.
A long place to go and a short time to get there.
Marty Lindley, the leader, he's fast. Marty Ward's fourth, he's just as fast. Peach State Speedway, exit 51 if you're by the old numbers, and exit 140 by the new ones. Head east and you're there. I'm Brian Drever, Bill Venturini, V-E-N-T-U-R-I-N-I, in case you're spelling it out on a check, and Stephen Cox down in the infield. Welcome to all of you as we are winding the laps down here and looking at our Discount Auto Parts field summary. It's much as it was a while ago, although we have had a few position changes here, not up front.
Did you see that chunk of rubber come flying off of Marty Lindley's tires right there?
There's a lot of stuff out there on the racetrack, loose pieces of rubber and flying around out there, but Marty Lindley has really got him covered here tonight.
It seems like whoever takes over the lead in this race tonight just kind of sets sail and leaves everybody. Hey, only for a little time was the first, second, third place cars actually running within the same view of the camera. Well, now, you know, first place guy's long gone.
Oh, and down into the infield goes Charlie Ford, who had been running in the top 10, and he is able to get his car going back onto the racetrack without any apparent real damage. Not sure what caused that exactly, but in any case, here's a look at it. Take a look in the way upper left. You'll just see, yeah, there it is.
He just got sideways, just got loose.
Nobody touched him, at least as far as we could tell. And there he's already heading towards the infield. So no apparent harm done anyway, but a tense moment for Charlie Ford. And the second best seat in the house might just be the Big Hooters hot air balloon. We'll be right back. Wish you were here. Back at Jefferson, Georgia, under caution. This may be the break that Marty Ward needed, but he's not going to have very many laps to try to get the win here tonight away from Marty Lindley. And that would be a tough job no matter how many laps he had, because Lindley is running mighty good here tonight. It's going to be a 3-lap shootout for the finish here.
Nice restart. You see, kind of hesitated a little and then jumped on the throttle. Nice restart, Marty.
Pulled a car length on Bobby Gill.
Whoa.
And heads up into that high groove. It is a little disconcerting, isn't it?
I thought he definitely went just a little too high. I thought he just blew it going into the corner, but I guess not. Look at this.
Charlie Ford
He's making
hangs
me
on to
nervous.
his 10th. Yeah, he is. And Bobby Gill is, in fact, down underneath. Oh, a little loose. A little loose, but he's got that high line working. Bobby Gill, the veteran driver, doing everything he can to make that low line work for a win.
And look who's sitting behind him. He's going, okay, you two guys go ahead and wreck yourselves. I'm going to sneak in and win this one. Steve Christian,
Marty
running
Lindley.
third.
Oh, yeah, Lindley with a little bit of an edge now. He's gathered it back up. The jitters and 1 lap to go. Bobby Gill's going to make another run at him. You know it's coming. Down inside he goes, and Lindley's way up high.
Lindley's a little loose coming off the, oh, what a bite coming off the corner.
And on the backstretch, a half lap to go. Bobby Gill looking down low again, hoping that Lindley goes up towards the wall, but Lindley drives off the corner. Gill gets a little bit of a push, and Marty Lindley will win. This time, he wins on the racetrack. Nobody handed him a victory here at Peach State tonight. He did it all at the end of the race. Our W.J. Plemons Investments crew chiefs of the race, Elvin Rector on the right, a veteran crewman, and Jimmy King, who is learning the ropes at the hand of Elvin Rector here tonight. Marty Lindley, the winner. That's 2 in a row for the young man at the wheel of the Hallelujah car. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sausage. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after it. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Marty Lindley climbing out of the car, and now is the time when you want to be a guest on the Stephen Cox Show. Not before. And that's exactly where Marty Lindley is right now. The celebration he didn't get a chance to have last week.
Well, congratulations to Marty. First of all, what a huge surprise. You were so dominant after just, say, 15, 20 laps from the end, and then you had a big rush at the end. Did you expect that from Bobby?
Yeah, I knew we was tight. Hit the get-go, and I knew he was going to run me hard, and the only way my car would work was up on top of the racetrack. And, man, I just like to thank all my crew. I'd like to thank Billy Hess. He really helped me with my race car. Jimmy King, Elvin Rector, everybody. It's involved. George Mappin, Bob Drinker. I just couldn't do it without every one of them, and I really appreciate it. This feels good. And
I talked to Elvin about halfway through the race, and I said, do you guys have anything left? I mean, if you really need it, can you dig deeper? And he said you did. Did you?
Well, yeah, I knew when we got tires, if I could just stay up top and just save my tires, I would be better at the end. And I hated to see that caution at the end. Bobby raced me hard, but he raced me clean. He's an awful good racer.
And $500,000 is still in sight.
That's right. We're going to go back and work on this thing, get ready for Lakeland.
All right, well, Marty Lindley was a little disappointed after he was given the win that he didn't get to celebrate his first USAR Hooters Pro Cup victory. And Marty Lindley finished first and second in the voting for smart move of the race. Yes, he won the race with this smart move, but how about that deal where he rubbed Mario Gosselin off on a slower car and moved up into contention for the lead. Marty Lindley, for the last lap and a half, made a lot of smart moves to win the award. The Incentive Risk Management smart move of the race earned him a victory.
And Bobby Gill was doing everything he knew how to try and get underneath Marty Lindley.
Well, he got underneath plenty of times. He just couldn't get in front when the finish line came up. And that little wiggle right there by the number 5 car was what sealed the deal. As we take a look at our official race results, Lindley, Gill, Christian Ward, and Clayton Rogers, first rookie. Then Gosselin, Buggy Pletcher, another rookie driver, and it's pretty much all veterans in the top 10 here tonight, Bill.
The rookies are going to have to wait another race.
There you can see how well some of the drivers did. John Wood doing a super job of coming back to finish 13th after going a lap down early in the race. Bill Plemons Jr. fighting a bad car all night. Karen Schultz doing a good job. Her first good, consistent, race-long finish. No incidents, no problems for her. That was what she wanted. That's what she got.
Derek Kelly, again, having problems in finishing 28th tonight.
And the attrition, Don Satterfield out, Darrell Hayes, Darrell Gwynn, some of the others, and, of course, Jabe Jones, the first one out. Dusty Williams, his debut, rather inauspicious. Let's go back downstairs. Bobby Gill.
Well, you know, just when you thought the show was over, this guy gets a yellow flag and comes storming back. I really thought he had you covered. Where did that come from?
Well, my car was getting good and churned right through the middle, but it was so loose off and we couldn't get hooked up racetrack. If it had got hooked up to him, we could have drove on by him, but my hat's off to Marty. He deserved this race. You know, we finally finished the race. You know, we fell out 2 and won 2, so maybe our luck is changing now.
I was going to say this breaks a mold for you. Beforehand, you either broke the car, put it in the wall someplace, or won. Now at least you got second. Some of that consistency's back.
Yeah, you know, the problem we had with the motor last race was equipment fault. It wasn't people building the motor. And with these stock heads, you know, you have a problem with cracks in them. And we had a crack at Myrtle Beach, and that put us behind.
I noticed he's sporting a new hairdo also.
The celebration around Marty Lindley's car is going to be a big one here. As we take a look at the points, he can also celebrate the points lead over Mario Gosselin by 5. Bobby Gill sits third, so he is doing quite well in spite of his 2 DNFs. The rest of the top 10 includes rookie Brian Vickers in 9th place, who could have had a better run here tonight. State Fair Brand Corn Dogs Hard Charger Award tonight to Marty Lindley, who started 22nd and finished 1st. And guess what? Marty Ward, who started 25th and finished 4th. We call that a tie. We give them both the award here tonight. And Bill Venturini, rookie points.
Yeah, look at Dave Pletcher now running second, only 10 points behind John Wood, followed up third by Brian Vickers.
Miller Lite rookie of the race, Clayton Rogers, with a top 5 finish here. The only rookie in the top 10, in fact, tonight at Peach State Speedway. We will see you at Lakeland, Florida on Friday, June 9th for the Lucas Oil 250. Yes, indeed, young man, you celebrate. And you at home, check us out on speedvision.com when you're not watching here on the air. Our thanks to Racing Electronics for letting us listen in here tonight, and my thanks to Stephen Cox for all his hard work down on pit road, and of course my buddy Bill Venturini here in the booth. I'm Brian Drever. So long, everybody.